Hey, this is Julie for my very first guest vlog for Greenlight the Day. I'm very excited about doing this, and I haven't done this yet, primarily because of what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about conflict, stress, and problems. And I hope this doesn't go like really far and long, but I'll try to keep it short and concise. But you know, the teacher in me starts going blah blah blah, and it sometimes gets to be me blah blah blah. Okay, so conflict, stress, and problems. As you guys know, I'm an English teacher, and one of the things that I continually try to teach in English is that problems in a book, conflicts, what the technical term is called conflict, but it's not really a conflict. It's not really like, you know, yelling or screaming or anything like that. We know them as problems. But the technical term is called a conflict. And conflicts in a book make the plot move, right? So you're introduced to a character, and you're immediately introduced to conflicts that he or she might have, like, you know, he or she doesn't like herself, or he or she has a conflict with their mother, or he or she, you know, gets fired from a job. Any of those things could be conflicts. And then it culminates into the apogee, and then the book slowly ends. But in any case, a book or a movie wouldn't be interesting at all if there weren't any conflicts, any problems at all. All right, so that's the background information. So you probably all know that I put my daughter, my middle child, my daughter Susie, in college this past week, and I think I have a really special relationship with her. She's my daughter, and we have a really great mother-daughter relationship, but she's the only girl I have, and so we share a lot of things that I can't share with my boys. And that, I mean, she's not like me, but we have similar interests. She's more like her dad. She's a very calm, cool, collected kind of person. And as a result, I love hanging out with her. And I value her opinion. And I value the time that I get to spend with her. And this was another stage in her life, one in which she gets to make all the decisions. She is now the adult. And for the 2 or 3 months that we've been here in the United States, she's been nervous and anxious. She's not come out and said she's been nervous, but she's been anxious. Because she'd ask me a question, what should I do? And I'd say, what do you think you should do? I said, this is your decision. I said, I can give you my opinion if you'd like my opinion, but I'm not going to tell you what to do because it's your life now. And she didn't really like that because she liked, you know, there's a comfort in having somebody make the decision for you sometimes. You don't have to take the fallout if there is fallout. And long story short, so I put her in school, and it occurs to me, you know, we were talking about this past summer and how many things that we've had to do. I had to put one of my dogs down because he had a severe illness before we came back from Paraguay. My son, John, my youngest son, was kicked out of his school, and that's a long story, but suffice it to say he was kicked out the day before we came back from Paraguay. And so we had to scramble and get a new school for him, and it was like a punch in the gut for me. Hard lesson for John, punch in the gut for me. So I had to scramble. Steve and I spent about a month trying to find him a new place. We bought a new house. You know, you can see it behind me. We bought a new house because hotel bills for 5 people would be at least $1,000 a week. And I said, that's crazy. We might as well buy a house if we're going to spend that amount of money. So we did. And then we had to get, you know, all our old furniture out of storage. And then we had to, and then Susie was working and John was working and Daniel, my oldest, was taking online classes, and we didn't have internet, and the list goes on and on and on. The car broke down. It was a comedy of errors. I mean, anything that kind of would go wrong did go wrong this past summer. And that kind of seems how it is with my life, especially when we're moving posts. It always seems to be filled with hoops that I have to dive through, hurdles I have to step over, things like that. So I'm putting Susie in school and I'm driving her around and we're trying to like get snacks for her room and get everything settled. And it occurs to me, being the English teacher, that you know, our life is like a book, you know. Gosh, it wouldn't be interesting if we didn't have problems and struggles to overcome. I mean, look at all of us who have struggled with our weight for most of our adult lives, if not even into our childhood, and how we have overcome it. And it wouldn't be that spectacular if we hadn't struggled with it for such a long time. And so I was thinking about all of this and thinking about all of the problems that I had this past summer and thinking about books and movies and life in general and journeys and how the journey wouldn't be worth it if there wasn't struggle along the way. Not struggle that makes it hard, but some struggle is hard, you know. When I had to put my dog down, that was hard. When John got kicked out of school, oh my God, I wished for a time machine. I wanted, it was horrible thing. But it's more than that. I mean, the struggle, that when we surmount the struggle and when we get past the struggle and when we figured it out, that is what makes the victory even sweeter. That is what makes our life that much more worth living, when we figure out the problem. And so I was saying to Susie in the car, if I could give her one piece of advice, you know, because now I'm in the advice giving mode. I'm not in the telling mode. And if I could give her one piece of advice, it was, you know, this is a journey. Your whole life is going to be a journey. And the journey is not, hey, getting to the goal. The goal is not, that is not the journey. The journey is surmounting the problems and figuring out the problems and saying, I did it. And looking forward to the fact that there might be other problems, there might be other conflicts in the future, but we can do it because we're strong enough, because we surmounted all the problems in the past. And the problems that are to come, we have it within our capability of doing it. And to embrace the fact that, yes, there are unknowns in our future. Yes, there are going to be problems. And yes, you're going to feel like some days are going to be worse than others, and you're going to feel like, I can't do it. But if you remember the fact that you have surmounted all of those problems in the past and how much stronger you are today because of those problems, and isn't today better for having surmounted those problems? than if you had just been handed everything. And it was interesting. What spurred all this whole journey, reflecting, problem kind of thing, solving thing to Susie, was a National Enquirer magazine I happened to spy in the grocery store, where Justin Timberlake is supposedly cheating on his wife. And we don't know that that's actually true. But I thought about Justin Timberlake, and this is my head pinging all over the place, and how successful he's been. And not that he hasn't had problems in his life, but how successful he's been. And how successful a lot of those young, talented movie star, pop stars are. And that they seek, and I'm not saying this is Justin Timberlake, but we know that there have been lots of pop stars, movie stars who have had everything given to them because of who they are. There are no problems. There's no struggle to get the house. There's no struggle to have raise the child. There's no struggle to succeed in life because it has come very easily to them. And this is also coupled with watching Bear Grylls and Deion Sanders this past Monday. And Deion Sanders, and I'm sorry I'm pinging around, but this is kind of how I talk. Deion Sanders said he had all the money, power, and sex he wanted in the world, and it was not worth it. And as a result, he fell into a deep depression and went to drugs, and then had to realize that he had to struggle for things, that it was the struggle, that it was the solving of the problems, that it was the going to God and ultimately saying, I cannot do this but with the help of others and God, and knowing that it was the inside, that the struggle from the inside to make himself a better person was the big thing. So my whole Greenlight Your Day message, I guess, is embrace the problems. Embrace them as they come, and know that as you are heading through these problems, as problems hit you, that it is the overcoming of those problems that actually gives you the wisdom to move on to the next problems. And that how uninteresting our lives would be, that we would have to need to seek out other things, like as Deion Sanders did, sex and drugs, or he didn't seek out drugs, but we know other stars who did. That they would have to create problems in order to be fully engaged in their lives. So accept the problem, accept the struggle, because it's through the struggle that our lives become full. And that's my message for today. I hope that was good and all of that kind of stuff, because I enjoy watching you guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.